Musically meditated.
Musically meditated. Musically meditated.
All right. Welcome to Musically Meditated Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Riley. I have my co-host and the best producer in the podcast game, Sretton Jovanik from the Green Door Network. What's up, Sretton?
What's going on, man?
It's Christmas Eve's Eve. It's the 23rd. We're winding down towards the end of the year, so we wanted to do something special, which we're going to. So we're going to do like a little introduction of shout-outs and thank yous. And then, Sretton, what's your idea for the rest of this particular episode?
So this is going to be a little bit of a thank you thing. I think we did a thank you thing, or at least did for a few minutes.
We did. We just never released it.
6 months in.
Yeah.
Is that right? We never released it?
We just never released it.
Man. Well, we did say thank you. We just
Forgot.
Sorry,
but thanks.
My bad. But it's like I said, it's a holiday season. We've done this for over a year. We've had some awesome guests. We have had some awesome people. Like, it's just been great. So we just want to say thank you, shout some people out. And for the new listeners and some of the old ones, it's the end of the year. We just want to refresh your memory. So this is going to be sort of a best of clip show. Yeah. Not necessarily best of like we usually say. This is just something that I'm going to put together. Joe's going to shout out some people. I'm going to shout out some people. And you'll get to, if you're on YouTube, you'll get to see a bunch of stuff. If you are, if this is for your listening pleasure, then you will just get to hear some of the guests and some of the conversations that we had throughout this last year, which has been pretty amazing.
It has been pretty amazing. I mean, it's technically, because, I like to be technical, bruh.
Yeah.
But no, we've been doing it since September of 2017.
Right.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And we have not stopped.
We have not stopped.
Not once.
And that
I mean, we've taken some weeks off, but we still had an episode for the listener.
Always putting out that content.
That content, bro. Step up your content game, brah.
Step up your content game. It's all about their content.
It's all about that content. But, yeah. So the thing is with that, we're always thinking of the next episode. I know I am, as far as what my idea is for it, what I want to talk about, who do you know what I mean? Who do we want to bring on as a guest if we're going to have a guest? So I never really get to appreciate each episode. I know you do, because in the beginning, especially, you were editing. I mean, not saying that you don't now, but we have it pretty tight, and we're doing the video. So when we're doing the video, it has to be on point,
right,
and less editing. So I know in the past you've gone through, right? And you still do. You listen to every episode. But myself, I don't listen to every episode right when it comes out, because I'm always trying to stay like 2 or 3 ahead. So I don't get to appreciate it, and it's kind of a bummer. So going through this list of the guests that we've had, I'm going back and listening to other episodes. Like, there's some really good stuff, and everybody brought something different to the table. And what's cool about Musically Meditated is, yes, it's our baby, it's our idea, but it wouldn't be anything without our guests or the listeners. So sincerely, I'm very appreciative of anyone that's given me their time and has listened or has watched, the video. And I don't know. It's just
the people that have written the hate mail.
And the hate mail and the haters.
Thank you.
Thank
Kiss
you.
my ass. Thank you.
Yeah, right. But, you're nothing without your haters. So, but another thing, I liked how when we first started this, we had the idea of just talking about what we like, as far as music. Now, granted, it's an opinion. I've gone over this a million times, so my opinion isn't greater than yours. It's just my opinion on music. But why waste your time on talking about what I do not like?
Right.
And I think that mindset is something that's actually very revolutionary in the fact of today's society, with media and all these outlets and all these critics. I mean, technically I do criticize and, base my opinion on what I like, but instead of putting out all that hate and that negativity, we just talk about what we like. And if you don't like the music that we're talking about, I'm sorry, but maybe you'll like what I'm talking about the next episode. Right. Or maybe you are checking out some stuff that we're talking about if you did not know about it.
Right.
So, it's just it's a new way of thinking. I hope, people that are listening, like our listener, take that and try to apply it to their everyday living situations. I mean, it's hard. I mean, if you only saw how many times Sretton and I have gotten in arguments and hated each other off the cameras. No, we actually like each other.
Yeah.
But, if you could like put that into your daily life and your daily routines, it would be great. But especially like with the internet, we have to use social media as a tool to promote and gain listeners, and it's a good thing. But a lot of people, are
a lot of people use up their energy in a negative headspace, and there's some stuff that you could say, this is worth it. This is where we got to make our stand. But come on, not 24 hours a day, not all the time, not from the time you wake up until you go to bed. Like, take it easy.
Just take it easy.
And it's music, man. Music is
it's
great.
Just music,
and all of us, most of us, all of us can connect in some way with something. Yeah. Mostly, Dave Matthews Band connects us all.
I don't know about that, but yeah,
there's always something. Like when we did the best of, which you'll mention your top 20 albums or top 20 of your top albums.
Yeah.
I should say it that way. It's all across the board. It's hip hop, it's punk, it's
jazz. It's jazz, there, electronic music.
Yeah,
it's all over.
Electronic. So it's all over the place. So you might not like one thing, but give us a chance. And the other way around. I've actually been turned on to a lot of good music in the last year through you, through the listener, through emails, through people contacting us, through just regular hey, somebody at a bar in Hobart or something's like, hey, I've been listening. I want you to check this out. Maybe they'd say 3 band names, and I don't like 2 of them, but one, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool.
And that's the thing too, not being able to appreciate every episode or guest or topic just because we're so hungry as far as our work ethic. Like you're not going to stop us. We're just a hungry bunch here. You're just not. It's not going to happen. I say that with extreme confidence. Like you can keep up. But at any rate, I can't always keep up with music either, so I really would love to hear other people's suggestions because, like I said, everything that I listen to isn't the best. I get it and you don't like it. So I need more outlets and more opinions from others. So please send it our way in the comments or text or the phone number and so on and so forth. But, it's been a really fun year and we just keep trucking along. So, real quick, what I want to do is go through the guests that we've had and just, a little shout out. Our first guest was Justin Wallace from Handsome Prick. He also has started.
Ooh.
Yeah, Justin Wallace. He also started Juice Pro Wrestling, and that's growing into a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's here on the Green Door Network, too. So, yeah, he just had a couple wrestlers, ain't it? Like his first wrestling guest the other night?
Yeah. We've had a couple of wrestling promoters. There was I'm going to mess up the name. Well, actually, he never told me his last name, but the dude named Steve out of Chicago Heights.
What up, Steve?
Drex Odell, who's a professional wrestler in the area here.
Okay, cool.
It was just really good conversation, really good stuff.
So. Yeah, so if you're into pro wrestling and if you like comedy, because Justin's a character, very, very, very funny dude and been a friend of mine for a long time, check out Juice Pro Wrestling. So we had him on, and he talked about his top 10 albums of 2017. So he was our first guest, so shout out to Justin. He helped out a lot. In the beginning as far as promoting Musically Meditated.
It was around that time for him to be on there the first time and then the second time. As we've been doing this, there's certain shifts in where you noticeably get better. The show noticeably got better. I mean, he's a good person to talk music with.
Yeah.
But that was a time I told you afterwards where I was like, Joe, it's getting better. You're getting better. There's been a shift. And that was cool. That's what I remember with Justin being on there was he probably part of his personality and the comfort that you two have together. But there was a jump in the quality of what we were doing and what you were doing. And it was cool. That's what I remember.
Yeah, and it's cool that he jumped on like that and he became a part of the Green Door, because he's got a great voice. He's knowledgeable about a lot of things, not just wrestling. And it's nice to see him have his own platform like that because he's a great guy, but he's very entertaining, So he's in Handsome Prick. Everybody check out Handsome Prick. They're a death grind band that I really like a lot, and know Brad and Zach and the Decrypt days. So they're almost like family. Justin is basically like my brother, so it was nice to have him on, and he's doing great things. So shout out to Justin. Next we had Mike Barth. He's a longtime friend. That was a cool episode. I think it was my first episode talking about hip hop with a guest.
Right.
And we were taking shots at Eminem and stuff, and it was really fun. And I remember we recorded that in the bookstore. These were the days where we were kind of jumping back and forth from our, the studio here and then going to Green Door. And those Green Door early settings were cool because it was intimate. I think that the books always had a really good sound too for the audio.
Yeah, sounded nice.
And you remember we just had the Christmas. It was last year around this time or right before.
It
so
was nice. Yeah.
Very nice. Then after that we had Alan. From Local 219. That was a cool episode. Alan's doing great things. Local 219 is, it's blowing up. It's a media source, and he actually invited us on his podcast, according to Alan, and that was a good time too.
It was a
Remember?
good time. They all regretted letting me speak for long, for more than a minute.
You and I were kind of just. It was like me and you just trying to out talk one another. Like, so I guess that's.
Yo, Joe, you shut up. It's my turn.
it's my turn.
Yeah.
But no, I really like Alan and his staff. I remember the other guy's
Good
name
group.
was Josh, right?
Yes.
Josh, and I'm sorry to the other guy, but I forgot his name.
Yeah.
But Alan brought us actually into his home, which is really cool, and
Yeah, that was his studio space at the
that was
time,
his studio space.
which is
at the
cool.
time.
Now he's got a cool space in Crown Point.
in downtown Crown Point, like right in the square,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So it's just beautiful to see all these creative minds in our Calumet region area and doing really cool things. And shout out to Alan for his recent loss. We're sorry for your loss, man, and for you and your family and your friends. But yeah, Alan's a great dude. I love to see what he's doing, and maybe we'll work with him again in the future. Right after that, we had Luke Greener from Positive Vibe Technicians. That was a cool episode. Luke really went deep into like Jamaican
reggae mode.
a reggae episode, which isn't my favorite genre like at all. So it was nice to bring him on and talk about it. And he's an awesome drummer, and his band has an awesome, amazing set. They play all kinds of different genres of music, but like 2 hours long. So shout out to Luke and his parents and all the guys from Positive Vibe Technicians. Luke's been a long time listener since day one, and I know he is still listening. So thank you, Luke. And we'll link up soon. After that, it was Boyan, your brother. I know you can't stand your brother because he's your brother.
Just tired of that dude.
You're just tired. You just hung out with him last night too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I did.
But no, obviously,
I slept at his house.
did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we love Boyan. He's been a listener since day one. I'll never forget. Like I didn't know him yet, and you guys had a zine night at the Green Door, and we didn't even like actually put anything out, just on the Green Door website.
Right.
Like we didn't have anything on social media or anything. And I remember I walked in the door, and he's like, "Is that the Joe guy or something?" I'm like, just kind of like, got like, what? He's like, "Dude, I love your voice, and I love what you guys talk about." I was like, "Thanks, man." So I just remember that about your bro, and then this particular episode was cool because he's been making lists for so long, like his top albums,
Right,
and Boyan's coming from, I think we agree more like with the hip hop, but then he brings a cool opinion on, I don't know, indie rock and a little bit more chill wave stuff.
A lot more chill.
A lot more chill.
Yeah.
So he's been a awesome guest. We've had him on like 3 times actually. That first episode, we talked about Record Store Day, and then I had him and Rodney on too.
Right.
And we just did our favorite hip hop albums of 2018. So shout out to Boyan, Jason and Stephanie. Jason from Anchors, and then he's doing his own solo stuff. That was a really cool episode. So
Yeah, those are our first live music.
yeah,
However you say it, like live performance.
that's right. Thanks for see, I kind of forgot, and we put a lot of time behind that, like
Yeah.
the editing, and you like set up his YouTube channel for him, and went the extra mile. So that was awesome.
We lit him very romantically.
Yeah, it was a romantic setting,
It's a really romantic setting.
and we were drinking some good bourbon or something that night.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just remember I got a little talky.
Remember, I was like, I try not to say the F word, and then like I don't, like maybe 5 minutes into it, I just dropped that F bomb hard.
Yeah.
With
So
a capital F.
so one of the things we do when we're what do they say offline, right? Is we don't tell people how to talk, but we're like, we try not to
Try
swear
not to
that
swear.
much. And if something pops out, it does.
The F
And
word.
Joe's
yeah.
like the F word, and then he said it a couple times, which is fine.
So it happens.
Yeah,
like,
it happens.
Not trying to censor myself or whatever, but it's like if you're listening to this, you have your kids with you. I don't know, that's just my thing.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. You can listen to those foul mouth guys all you want.
Send an email to musicallymeditated
Yeah,
at gmail.com.
Right. But yeah, the Jason, shout out to Jason and Steph, their fam. So after that, we had Nick Gloom. He's an amazing artist. Had Nick on a few times, but it was like the first time I met him, really, and that was through Michael, the co-owner of the Green Door Bookstore.
Yeah.
He jumped in on that episode, and then Alec from Mythos. And, don't see those guys as much as I would like to currently, but the first half of the year, like later 17 and
Yeah,
the
when
whole
we were-
first half of
When we were setting
this
all
year.
this stuff up, we were seeing them a lot. And now everybody's busy.
Everyone's
you
busy.
know? And we try to, hopefully, like, this is not even relevant to what we're doing right now, but hopefully we'll do a little holiday party before February.
Yeah,
just
that'd
so we
be
can all
cool.
see each other, hang out for a night.
Yeah, I don't get to see them nearly as much as I would like to, but that was a really cool episode. Nick's a great artist, phenomenal drummer. Alec, he's he's just a really intelligent dude and has a vision for Mythos. And I just think it all, like, we all came together at a perfect time.
Yeah.
And
Lucky to have found each other's cool.
Yeah, and that was a fun episode. After that, we had Chuck and Allison from Fluid Coffee. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The way that they have their business set up, their family structure, everything about them to their personality. I just think it's something I would like to almost carbon copy, if I ever get married again or have kids or start a business, like the way they do it and just how real they are and how cool they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better. So I like that episode. We had a lot of fun, and
it was nice. You guys,
it was nice.
You guys got along really well.
Yeah.
Like the three of you got along. Not that I would, but you guys just talked about music, and you guys have very, very similar tastes.
And I didn't know him before it.
Right.
It was
cool.
Met him.
It was cool to see that very quick connection. Musically.
Yeah.
That's why we talk about this stuff, because music is...
Yeah, and they're always looking out and inviting me to a lot of their different things, that they have at Fluid. And nothing personally, guys, it's just time. I want to make time for everyone, and I'll definitely reach out to them more this coming up here in 2019.
Yeah.
We'll do some fun stuff with them. I know they're great people. After that, it was a really fun episode too with Craig Brooks. That was the special St. Patty's Day. Had a lot of fun with that. Stratton, you worked your butt off.
Mr. Brooks trying to make me cry with that history of his bagpipes, and then he started playing. That was a very awesome experience.
It was a great experience. And then you put the video together for him, and your friend helped edit, and you guys.
Shout out to Carlos.
Carlos,
thanks for editing.
Yeah, thank you. That was really nice. So everyone listening, if you missed that for whatever reason, we have a really nice video of Craig playing bagpipes live in the bookstore.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
Using one of the bagpipes, unless I'm saying it wrong, using one of the bagpipes that was used at President Kennedy's inauguration.
Yes,
right?
yes. Inauguration. Maybe even his funeral too. I don't.
He had
remember.
A second set at home.
Okay,
and I was like, leave him there. I'm not trying to cry in the bookstore with all this history.
After that, we had Tony Ramirez, really cool singer-songwriter, and he had some out there, but in a good way, like instrumentation that he was obsessed with.
He's an extremely positive dude.
Yeah, really positive. Yeah. So Tony was great.
Yeah, and then he had the balls to come in here and sing
his ass off.
Yeah, in this space. This is not a giant studio.
No.
It's very intimate, and he just came in here and started singing and playing. And he's only like 2 or 3 feet away from us. It was cool.
Yeah,
it was a cool experience.
We didn't really know Tony very well either personally, but he wasn't shy at all, and just a really nice dude.
Real nice dude.
Very confident. I thought his voice was confident, and what he did was pretty ballsy, like you said, just coming in here and just wailing away.
Yeah.
And shout out to Tony, man. We got to link back up with him. After that, we had Gabe from Grindhouse. That was a really cool episode. Excuse me, I don't know if you remember anything specifically that stuck out. I mean, I know it was fun.
I remember you guys you didn't high five once, but I bet you guys had that high five reflex going. Like we
were broing out a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Like,
we were
just because
out.
you had a lot of the same musical experiences at going to shows.
Yeah,
so you connected on.
He outshowed me, kind of.
Yes, he did.
My ego's still hurting from that, Gabe.
Yeah. That was when I think that was one of the few times where Joe giggled.
I giggled a lot. I was real giggly.
Yeah,
like
you were real
child.
giggly because you were like really into the stories that he was telling, and the fact that he got to see some of these people or got to go some of these venues, That's why we can't edit videos on.
It's on.
And
we're rolling.
You were just kind of like really enjoying his stories and like the stuff that he was. So it was cool. It was cool for me to watch that too.
Yeah.
And then I got to do one of my stupid games.
Oh yeah, we had a silly game.
Which are always fun for me.
It is fun. It is fun.
Childish and wonderful.
Yeah, and then right after Gabe, back to Gabe real quick. We'll do some fun stuff with him in 2019. You know, I know he's always open to just different ideas, but yeah, we look forward to bringing him back on for sure and doing some cool stuff at Grindhouse or whatever. Shout out to Grindhouse.
Yeah,
good food, good coffee, so on and so forth. But moving on to Bobby Marcos from Cloakroom. That was a really cool episode. I've stayed in contact with Bobby, and I know that they're working on new music. So we'll be doing some fun stuff with them this year, too. I have some plans. But that was a cool episode. I just remember we really nerded out on Boards of Canada.
Yeah. And
it was cool to, like, find... I mean, I know that they're big, but not every day do you run into another Boards of Canada enthusiast.
That was one of those... It's amazing. Music is amazing because certain people connect with certain music, and that was one of those. After listening to you guys talk about to help me again. I'm
Boards of Canada?
Boards of Canada. And I was like, I got to hear this band. These guys are going nuts over this. And I get to my car and I'm listening and I was like, it's not for me, Joe. That's when I started saying, it's not for me, Joe.
It's not for me, bro. But no, they're just like chill elevator music
they are.
or something.
But, you know.
Yeah, but they're great. Shout out to to Bobby. It was a good time.
It was cool to have him here.
Really cool. We'll keep in touch with him. Then we had Tom Lounges on. The legend of the region. Check out Tom Lounge's record bin. Tom's a great guy. We'll do some stuff with him. He was helpful in selling the Musically Meditated T-shirts at his store, which was really cool. Same with you guys at Green Door. And he's an animal lover, and all those proceeds went to the Northwest Indiana Humane Society that's in Gary, Indiana, like Miller, but in Gary.
Yeah.
So I actually just did the check, gave him the check for that a few days ago.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
And everybody, and everybody check out his record store. It's here in downtown Hobart. Another shout out, too, to Joseph Pete from the Times. I thought that was really cool how they spent their time writing an article about the Green Door Network and then, putting my big dumb face on the front of lifestyle section of the newspaper. But no,
we got like 5 sections of the newspaper.
5.
I don't mean to brag.
Yeah, but it was really nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really.
I have like a stack of those at my house.
Yeah.
Because I need to laminate like 6 of them
Yeah.
so that my kids have at least one, if I have kids.
Yeah, if we have kids.
Yeah. They'll be like, here's what your dumb dad did, and his big ass head, and his friend who's also got a big ass head.
Big heads, the Big Head
They did the
Network.
Big Ass Head podcast. Started the Big Ass Head Network.
But yeah, that was like super, super sweet of them to do that, and how that all just happened. You remember, like the guy came in here and
Yes.
the photos.
The whole thing was very cool and very grateful. They were super generous. And
What's going on with that Chuck Norris podcast that they quoted you? I had to say it, but like,
yeah. He
Yeah.
really seemed to enjoy that we will do that, but whatever. When it happens, it happens.
I want to bring Joe on too, because like through social media, I think he's more of like a Pixies guy. So
Yeah.
maybe we could bring Joe on and really dive into the Pixies, because they're a huge influential band, like in my life, and especially for indie rock and rock and roll. Everybody loves the Pixies. So shout out to Joe. And I don't remember his buddy's name that came here and took the pictures.
I can't remember either.
Sorry, dude.
He's gonna get so mad. I think his name is a vegetable.
But no, what, like
I'm
Kale?
sorry, man.
His name's Kale?
Yes. Yeah.
Is his name Kale?
I'm like 90% sure.
Cool, man. He was nice.
super nice guy.
Super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. Thanks to the Times, man. It's really nice when you get recognized, like that with the paper. So that was really cool. After Joe Pete, Comer, we did an episode with Comer about Wu-Tang. Comer and I are going to come up with some cool ideas for 2019 for Musically Meditated and some other fundraiser kind of deal.
Yeah, with Comer, I thought it was cool because you have a lot of friends with a lot of different musical tastes, and when you decide you're going to feature a band, it's always like, how's it going to go? How's it going to go? How's it going to go? It's something I'm always nervous about, and Comer was like pretty much the perfect guy to come in and sit down and talk about Wu-Tang.
Right.
Right. I mean, you have a lot of friends. We could have got like 10 dudes in here to talk Wu-Tang, but one-on-one conversation like that, yeah, big.
What?
He's a big Wu-Tang fanboy, and then he made that badass Wu-Tang
Oh, yeah, here
thing.
it is.
Yeah,
Oh, it's really that
yeah,
heavy,
it's super heavy.
but it's super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, so thanks,
he made
Comer.
that very
He
cool.
made that for the studio. But yeah, that was a great time. So we'll get Comer back on. It was a lot of fun, and we're going to work on some stuff for 2019, like some fundraiser stuff. We also had Dave from Hey My Man podcast.
Yeah.
That was fun. I spent some time with him outside of the studio and went to that Gorilla Biscuit show. And who else? Modern Life is War. And they're doing fun stuff. And they're always very supportive. And I believe his partner's name is Tim, right? He left that Deftones. He's a big Deftones guy. I never got to meet him.
I'm not sure.
But I like their show. They've been going around and going on here in the region. I think they just hit like their 200th episode.
Yeah.
So everybody check out Hey My Man podcast.
The OG
The OG
of NWI.
of NWI.
That's enough initials for me.
Yeah, right. The next one, too, Corey Caesar from Chromatic Distortion. Had him on, and Corey's doing well and doing his thing. Everybody check out his podcast.
Yeah.
We talked about Hip Hop Strut, and you weren't here for that, but he did a great job.
Yeah, he did.
He did a really great job.
Yeah, I'm sad I missed that.
Yeah, the Potney family, too, for letting us use our first recording that we had with Ricky. Ricky, rest in peace. It'll be a year here on New Year's Eve. But it was nice. It was nice to hear from them, and they wrote some nice things, and that was a really hard thing to do. Obviously, for both of us, it was taxing, it was stressful and emotional, but I'm glad that we did it. So thank you, Stretton.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that, because I know you worked your butt off on the editing. And last but not least, we have Rodney that came on with your brother and talked hip hop.
Yep.
That was great.
That was fun.
Okay.
And then it was a lot of just you and me. Yeah, I knew when my brother told me that Rodney was going to come on. I only know one Rodney, and I was like, it's crazy that Rodney. We all know each other from different like circles, and it was cool that my brother's actually friends with Rodney. I was friends with Rodney like on a totally different thing, and then he comes in and like talks hip hop with you guys. It was cool. I'm glad he was able to come, and I was glad Boyan was able to come, and you guys could do a proper hip hop.
Yeah, I want to bring Rodney back on too, just by himself, because I think him and I will have good back and forth when it comes to hip hop, especially more modern stuff that people might not know about.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll bring Rodney back on for sure. And I know I said last but not least, but the two bands that we interviewed, which was really cool, Birds in Row, you know, they were great guys. Put out one of my favorite albums this year, and that was a really cool experience. And shout out to, you know, Death Wish. They've been supportive, you know, really appreciate that, and all their people that have helped out, like, you know, Jake from Converge and so on and so forth. And then Street Sect. Shout out to them and the Flesner Records and that interview and their awesome album. But for bands to actually spend their time, it's really cool. And those were great episodes. Now, real quick, I know I'm getting winded, but I want to go through all the different countries that are listening to us. So the way we track this is it's through Libsyn.com. Libsyn is basically like what, Stretton? How could you explain
That's
it?
where we host that's where we keep our audio. So anything we record audio-wise, it's on Libsyn.
Right.
Most podcasters use Libsyn, so it's they're one of the oldest companies that does a service like this, and then they give us like statistics.
They give us our statistics and our analytics, and so on and so forth, and they'll break it down too. Who's listening from Apple, Stitcher? I mean, they really break it down. But they also have a cool map, and it shows everyone that's listening around the world. So yes, we know we have our regional fan base here in our local town, or you know, Northwest Indiana and Chicago. So those are our two biggest listeners, you know, obviously. But then California, like we mentioned before, is like right there, like LA and the Bay Area, like right by Chicago. I mean, like neck and neck with Chicago. And then Texas is our other big listener. So
shout out to Chris. Shout out to Oscar. Shout out to Rob.
Yeah, all those guys in Texas. Thank you.
I got to go to Texas about a month ago, and for about a minute, they didn't care that I was there. They were just like, "How's Joe?" I was like, "You know what, man? Joe's not here."
Joe's actually a jerk. All right, like you don't really know. We don't like Joe, but no.
Huge fan, spreading the word, telling other people about it, and so I mean the listenership in Texas is growing. It's
growing.
Awesome.
And Callie, and shout out to like Vinyl X Denim. You know, she's been cool. I don't know her personally, but like with the whole November Vinyl Challenge thing. That was cool, and I know she's stuck her neck out and really helped out in promoting. So that's California too. So I think those Deftones episodes, like I've talked about, I've heard like good feedback from people from Cali. Right. So cool. But I'm going to go through the countries real quick. Obviously, the U.S., Mexico, Canada, Cameroon. Is that how you say it? Cameroon, and that's in Africa, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Singapore, Spain, the U.K., England. What's up, England? What's up, Brits? What's up, Wales? What's up, Scotland, Northern Ireland? All y'all. Colombia, Australia, Costa Rica, France, Peru, Ghana, Russia, Taiwan, China, Indonesia, Germany, Uganda, Japan, Czech Republic, Ireland, Israel, Jamaica, Albania, Poland, Argentina, Korea, Rwanda, Bulgaria, Netherlands, Italy, and Jamaica.
And Serbia.
No, Serbia wasn't on there. What the hell's going on? I thought like you were holding it down in Serbia.
It was. It should be. Well, I saw it on the map.
I didn't see it. It wasn't on the list. I got this from Libsyn.
I got to talk the whole country.
You do.
I got to talk to the president.
So you weren't lining to the podcast when you were in Serbia for like a month? You lie. It doesn't say it here. Libsyn don't lie. The numbers don't lie. You guys aren't holding it down in Serbia, man. Even China's representing.
Oh, we messed up.
But no Serbia.
It's on there.
It's all good.
We'll double check them.
But no, that's really cool.
It's awesome.
It's so cool. to do something that you love, and then people are listening around the world. Like,
Right.
I'll pat myself on the back, but no, it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Sretten's going to now post some of his
now
favorite
you can
stuff.
listen to some of my favorite stuff. But first, I want to say it first,
Okay.
and then Joe will say it. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy whatever you do this time of year.
Yeah.
Hope you get to spend it with loved ones and family, and hope you get to have some good meals and listen to some good music. And we're not doing a meditate on this, but be a little reflective this time of year. Be grateful. Life can be rough, but there's so much awesome stuff out there. So many great things out there. We are grateful that you listen to us, man. And the next year is going to be even better than this last one.
Right.
So,
Yeah, all I have to say is thank you, first and foremost, to my close friends and family. You know who you are. I can't go through a whole nother list of all of y'all, but the very early supporters, the people that stick with us, definitely the people I do not know that are listening. Thank you. Please give us feedback. We really, really appreciate your time, because your time is the number one thing you can give someone. So I feel blessed. I feel honored that people want to listen to me talk about music for an hour, right? It's really amazing. So I really appreciate that. Another thing too, all the businesses locally in the area, quick shout out obviously to the Green Door. Thank you. I couldn't do it without you guys. Who else? Three Monkeys in downtown Hobart. They've been very helpful. They kept those drinks stiff during the cold months, and just had a lot of fun with everybody, with everyone at Three Monkeys. Trying to think, Librarian Coffee, they're great. Like I said, Grindhouse in Griffith, Tom's Record Bin in Hobart, Region Records in Griffith, S&J Records. I'm trying to think, New Oberfalls. Just some businesses that have been really supportive. Fluid Coffee and Valpo. Thank you for all your help. The Northwest Indiana, whatchamacallit? I'm drawing a blank here. With my T-shirts, the Humane Society.
oh yeah.
Thank you for your help and your support. They did a nice article. Like I said, the Times newspaper, I could go on, but yeah, thank you for everybody that's listening and watching us on YouTube. And we're going to do a lot more cooler video type things this upcoming year. We're not going to hold back on anything, and some cool interviews of newer bands coming out, and I'm just really thankful. So awesome. Let's do it. Bye.
Adios.
Adios.
Oh,
Drinking?
You drink?
Oh yeah,
Oh, I
just a
didn't know
little bit. LaCroix every day. Cheap plug.
What? Hey, real quick, what's your favorite LaCroix flavor
Right now it's key lime.
Oh,
It's great. It tastes
That's
like
not what Joe was looking for.
I was looking for that pamphlet.
I should have bought it and I was blew away.
So with this question, I'm gonna revert back to Easy, because we've always liked him and we always talk about him. What do you think Easy would be doing right now if he was alive?
I think he would have his hand in just about anything making money, dude. I mean,
Go in there,
it
you
was
get your
great.
Jinko jeans, your Echo shirt.
I had Janko jeans.
Nice. We all
and
did,
Stratton,
man.
I saw your post on Instagram. You had braids and you had a North Carolina shirt
The
on.
Coolio phase.
We all went through that.
Damn right, dude.
That was a byproduct of the movie Hard Target coming out and me being a huge Van Damme fan, so I grew my hair out.
The two albums that come to mind for winter is Not a Surf, Let Go. Have you guys ever heard that album?
I remember Not a Surf, but I don't remember that album.
Dude, it's crazy. And I know this is, again, not going to be a popular one, but a Coldplay Rush Blood to the Head. I don't know if it does that era of what I was going on. Like they didn't get called out by Paul Rudd on the 40-Year-Old Virgin at that time yet, so they were still cool.
Go ahead. I have a newbie question.
I have, yeah.
Ska and rocksteady. Is Jamaican ska and rocksteady the same as American ska and rocksteady?
I would not think so.
Ska is like trumpets and it's faster.
A lot of brass.
Yeah.
Jamaican ska?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very ching, 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 ching. You know what I mean?
So it is different.
It's different.
Okay.
Rocksteady is
More on the beat. More on the beat.
Chang, reggae, check, check.
No, it's all right.
And Freddie Gibbs shows up to go to the green room, and it was in the winter. It's freezing outside. Freddie Gibbs, I should mention, the nicest guy, super, super cool, really like down to earth guy. but also came because he's, sort of local. He's from Gary. We were in Chicago on the south side, not too far of a drive. He was
right
just
off of 22nd.
Right. Yeah. He was just sort of blowing up a little bit. So he came, but he also came with like 30 other people. And so, yeah, it truly was. And so they're wanting to go down into what is the green room, which, again, if you ever get lucky enough to go to the Reggie's green room, it's basically just a hallway room with couches. And it is
not that awesome.
No, it's not awesome at all. And my show that I was in charge of went really poorly. We had way too many openers. People didn't want to get off stage. People were drinking, smoking on stage. Halfway through Freddie's set, and he was killing it. Like, it was great. Like, people were going crazy for it. Stetson loved it. He was in the balcony just going nuts.
Really? Getting crunk shot?
He was. He may not admit that, but it was a good show for people that like him. And then the lights turn on halfway through his show because it was already past curfew. And so the basis of the why we were there was to put on a good rap show for the people of Chicago. And it was one of my least favorite shows I've ever been to, and I was in charge of it. Yeah.
And kind of just wanted something to do to keep us off the streets, I guess.
The mean streets of Hobart.
Mean streets of Hobart, where bullies were just kind of waiting for us everywhere. So we somehow...
Struggle is real, Shug.
Still are, Joe.
God, like...
This is going to probably derail everything.
Okay.
Well, keep going.
I always enjoyed the Pina Colada song.
No,
If you like
not.
Pina Colada, I thought it was pretty good.
Okay.
But you know what the lyrics are behind the Pina Colada song?
Yeah, we all know what that song's about.
Yeah. So
It's pretty straightforward.
yeah.
I don't like pina coladas, but go ahead.
Right, he's trying to. Him and his wife are both trying to. They're on vacation together.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're
right,
both
right.
trying to find someone to screw around with, and they
To
find each
escape,
other.
yeah, and then they
right,
find
because
each
they
other.
like the same things. That's real. I get that. I like the sentiment of it, but I think those lyrics are terrible. But I mean, I like the idea of it. It's a good idea.
Man, we're talking about like deep music. You're talking about pina colada.
And then I come to I was living in Florida at the time, and I come back up here to be with Allison. I moved from Florida to be with Allison.
Aww.
Thank you. Thank you.
Been to
You
the
go to the
beat
beat
kitchen. I've been
Yeah?
there.
What do you think about it?
It's hostile.
Hostile.
I met
Good day.
no road rage, huh?
No road rage over there. But if you ask an Irishman for directions, he'll look around a wee bit and he'll say, "No, okay, you're going to the Bunratty Castle. If you go down the road a wee piece, you come up to the fork in the road. McGillicuddy's farm is there on the right. You'll notice by the cow. If you go left there, you come into town, you come around the corner, there's a big rock there. Now take a left there. No, maybe, take a right at the big rock. Anyway, there's a pub on the side of the road, a wee piece up a bit. Go in there and ask the barmaid, how'd he get there?"
Or Dave Matthews Band.
It's the F word. I don't want to say the F word.
All right, you're wrong, Joe.
It's Dave Matthews Band. Dave Matthews Band is the one that's not a punk band. We were trying to give you a hint.
We tried.
We were trying to give you a hint.
I tried, Joe.
Damn it. And then I lose because of Dave Matthews Band. I'm so...
Everyone loses because of Dave Matthews Band.
All right, that ends a game.
He likes it.
I'm done. I'm done. It ends a game. Congratulations, Gabe.
Thank you.
won 3-2. Joe, disappointing.
It is
Let
disappointing.
me take my aunt's glasses off.
Take
here
your
so we
aunt's
can
glasses off. But
conclude
see, that
the
was a
show.
trick. That was a trick. Now let's get into your Boards of Canada. I mean, we've been talking for a while, but
Dude.
you told me that they influence you
Everything.
in everything, in every
Everything I
aspect of
do.
your life. That's
Everything
a
I
bold
do.
statement.
It is.
And how so? I mean,
I've never, I guess, when I was in 4th grade and I got into Nirvana, that had a pretty profound impact on me where I just became like this walking, talking, prepubescent.
What's your favorite Nirvana album? I know it's, you got to say.
Tall Order, In Utero.
Okay.
I mean, that was kind of when they were like, this is who we actually are, which is rad.
I like the sound of Bleach still, though.
Beautiful. It's incredible. It's heavy. Jack Endino did an amazing job. Shout out to Jack Endino.
Shout out.
Yeah. He's a great engineer. He did a great job. He did that that last Wind Hand record. Speaking of Relapse.
That's doomy as hell.
Oh, it's heavy, dude.
That's doom.
It's got that same
Wind Hand
that same vibe. You know, it's like you feel like the record was made like for $300. It's like we're just gonna get what we can get, you know. But it turned out amazing, you know.
And in Cloakroom, I read something before. Does this piss you guys off? Emo Doom.
We just I think it's hilarious. I love.
I was gonna introduce you guys as the Emo Doom, man. I read that. I was like, what?
Since day
Emo
one,
Doom.
I've had so many people from like magazines and stuff be like, so what is it? It's like, I don't know. Well, you tell me.
Yeah.
You're the journalist.
Yeah.
You know, what do you call it? I don't know.
Emo Doom? Do they say Emo Doom?
Emo Doom, stoner emo, shroom gaze. I've heard of all.
Shroom gaze, that's a good
Gaze
one.
Is good. Yeah, I like that one the best.
You got to go with Shroom gaze.
Shroom gaze is good. Doom gaze. I think Revolver put it as Doom gaze, which I really liked.
Shout out to Revolver.
Yeah,
with Doom
Revolver.
gaze.
Yeah, Revolver hooks it up there.
It's Record Store Day, and I have Boyan here with me. What's up, Boyan?
I'm good. How's it going?
Doing well. That's Black Flag's first album with Henry Rollins. So I had to do that. Speaking of being dicks to Nardwuar, did you ever see his interview with him?
No, was he a dick?
Yeah. He's like, Nardwuar, you're getting too close. Your breath stinks.
Yeah.
And he was like smelling the microphone. He was just being Rollins. Like, it's kind of hard to tell if he's being sarcastic or being a dick, but he wasn't polite.
Right. There's a few that like stick out to me. That I just think Nardwuar is like a treasure. Like the things that he does and like the amount of research and the kookiness and the weirdness, and like people say things and he just like rolls with whatever they say, and like he's so good at it.
His research.
Yeah, Nas was another one that was like, because if you don't know what you're getting and you're like some dude that or lady that is just, you know, hey, this person wants to interview you and you don't know that it is Nardwuar, like I'm sure it could be off-putting and you probably are reacting like a normal human being would. But I do love when like a band knows who he is, or an artist knows who he is, and then they are like
They're
super
into
excited
it. Yeah.
about it. Yeah, like you have like Questlove. I love Questlove. Did 2 separate sessions with him now at this point that total basically 6 hours of interview, and it's awesome. Like it's just 2 music nerds going back and forth. I know Jay-Z's done it.
Yeah,
Drake's
Jay-Z
done
was
it a
pretty
few times.
cool.
Jay-Z was cool. Jay-Z was like one of the ones that kind of, I think, helped Nardwuar get some of these other people, because Jay-Z, it was weirded out. It was outside, I think, at like some festival or something. And then like his research like was like, holy cow, like this dude is incredible.
Put in
And then
his work.
he told other people, hey, you have to do an interview with Nardwuar. But yeah, it's.
Well, Wu-Tang was kind of rude to him, but they threw him with Wu-Tang like after a show, Green Room. Did you ever see that one?
I vaguely
like Ghostface
it's not
was kind of
everybody, right?
mean. Yeah,
I think RZA was good though.
RZA
right?
was good.
Yeah.
And like he had some really cool kung fu like posters, and he's like, "No, that's not like he like he shows it to him like, oh, I'm taking that," and I was like, "No, you're not." How would you research it? Like, where would you find it?
I would find it because publicists in the music business at the record labels all had deep pockets then, and they had legions of publicists that would set me up with interviews and things like that. And that's when I first started doing interviews, was for Night Rock News. So Night Rock News had been out maybe 4 or 5 months. It was a spin-off of the radio show, which by that point was probably a year and a half old after it had moved. And he said, why don't you do something with the paper? So he introduced me to the first editor, and I did a couple stories. I had written some radio scripts because, again, I wanted to be Larry Lujak. And I thought, I love Tom Snyder. He's a great interviewer. And I love Larry Lujak as a radio personality. Let's put the two together. So I wrote these programs that I spent the wee hours of the morning writing, called Rock and Roll in Retrospect. And back then we had the biggest effect you had in radio was an Echoplex. So
What's an Echoplex?
It would do reverb, basically, simplistic.
okay.
But it was a big machine.
Yeah.
It had a loop tape. And you'd record it, and it'd be rock and roll in retrospect, spec.
In between, like it's satanic shit. Like
Satan has no chill.
Yeah, Satan doesn't chill. He doesn't sunbathe.
So as a result, I don't care about Pusha T either.
Damn, strutting shit in my Cheerios here.
Hey, I don't like what you like.
I don't like what you like. It was horror.
It wasn't
biz.
horror business. It was horror biz. You know, it's like Psycho 88.
Yeah.
12 o'clock. Don't be late.
Everybody that came through town that was a bigger name that wasn't big enough to play the Metro, or maybe was on the downside of their career, was, you know, like Agent Orange had, you know, they were a little bit older. They were playing there, and like I said, they were as close as I am to you right now. In fact, Mike Palm blew a fireball out of his mouth, and it singed my hair. How close I was.
Nice. You know, a lot of punk pop lyrical content is about a breakup,
sure,
or something. So from what I was listening to and what I gathered, who is she? Where's she at? No, I'm just joking.
Who hurt you? Exposed.
I'm joking. But that's what I got from it? Is it a bad breakup or what's going on?
Yeah, there's some of that in there for sure. It's pretty obvious. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I kind of just wrote about the last 3 years of my life because that's really the time frame that it took us to write this record. So some of it had to do with that, some of it, and that was pretty fresh actually. So that's some of the newer stuff. But some of the other songs on there deal a lot with. I went away to college and I went away to Rochester, New York.
Oh wow!
Which I absolutely hated.
Okay.
So a lot
Shout
of
out to Rochester.
Yeah, hey, Rochester.
I have a few quick questions. Number one, does Sretton have bad breath? His voice sounds like he has bad breath.
You know, the intelligence, the lyrics. You know, I mean, it's like these guys walk around with dictionaries and thesauruses. You know, it's just amazing when you listen to these guys. You know, just speak. Period.
1977.
Oh, that was the first of the Super Bowl of rock. First, it was Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Second, it was Pink Floyd. Third was Skinner and Nugent. That was the first one. That was so cool, man. Had all the speakers from the Olympics. They bought them, and they had a 50-piece orchestra.
Wow.
And I'll never forget the guy in the piano. He was like flinging him around, you know, and he was like floating around in the air in his piano. And it just, wow, that was magical. Like I said, 77, a lot of things they didn't do. And they had like a screen in the background. You never saw a screen in the background. And they had that. And there were a lot of backup groups there. You know, I saw like Jay Giles backed them up. And there was a lot of backups back then in those groups. I mean, in the big shows, but ELP they were great. That was the first of the triple thing at Soldier Field.
And you went all 3 days, right?
All 3 concerts. Yes, absolutely. That was just one. That was the first of 3 concerts.
Cool.
It was Emerson, Lake and Palmer. The next concert was Pink Floyd. And after that was Skinner and Nugent. Probably my best year concerts ever.
77?
Yeah.
Not all of us have to get together and get along. You know, there is love and hate in relationships. So just embrace that. But we all are here together as one tonight.
Yeah.
So let's enjoy it.
Because like it's really easy to go into this like very utopical way of saying like, you know, peace and love everyone and this type of stuff. And I don't believe it really can happen. But what I try to say every night is that the matter is not love, really. It's more the respect and the way you want to participate to a collective effort to make things better. Because we've seen in the last years that, or like last decades or last centuries, that politics are not voting for someone and wait for something to happen. Politics are actually everyday things where it depends on like how you treat people around you, how you build or destroy communities, how you try to make your own like city or community better, and so everyone can feel better, and then it can spread out, you know, to other region or other places. And I think a lot of people tend to forget about that because we're always told, you know, when you have elections, you're always told you have to vote right now. This is your duty and blah, blah, blah. And then you tend to forget that actually politics are way more than that. Like, I think everything we do is political, and every type of relationship you have is political as well.
Nick Nolte and Gary Busey.
That is correct.
Oh, nice. You want her to win.
Well, I don't know. I'm just asking the questions.
And beefs and hard lyrics against somebody else, because that's, to me, it's funny and it just gives it a different dynamic.
Or some gangster
rap,
shit,
dude. Right. If we're gonna rap, let's make it gangster, dude. What are we doing here?
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't care about your car, bro.
Yeah, we've known each other for quite a few years. Now we just play old man basketball once in a while together and
full court.
Of course. There's no other way.
You said old man, so
it still qualifies as old man basketball.
We're just not sprinting. We play Spurs style. We set up.
Limited defense.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nobody's diving.
New ideas. You know,
right on.
Yeah, so there's really nothing that I can point to that's electronic that's like, well, there was this. You know, I've certainly listened to a lot of Harold Budd, Brian Eno ambient pieces, but you're not hearing that in our music. But
no. Nothing ambient.
Yeah,
nothing,
but a tone might drift in. You know, you never know where an idea is gonna take you.
Meditate on this. Your vibe attracts your tribe. I'm musically meditated.
That's right.
I'm musically meditated. That's right. I'm musically meditated.
Producer my ass over there.